Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Jacob. I've always intended this channel to be an educational channel so that we can learn generally about military items and places and things like that. And I do watch a lot of YouTube, and there are lots of videos out there when it comes to military equipment such as firearms, vests, vehicles, aircraft. I would consider those vehicles. But what's put on YouTube is generally just a load of crap. I can't say anything polite about it. I mean, I do watch things such as mud tests or immersion tests, but unless you're talking about Top 045 or AC 225D/14, you're just talking nonsense. So you have these two test operation procedures. So the NATO standard AC 225D/14 and the American one top is 045. I think it's 3-2-045. Anyway, I'll put the proper name in here, and those documents also call out further documents depending on what kind of equipment you're testing, such as DO 160, could be G, might be different version right now, or say mil standard 310, certainly mil standard 810, which is environmental testing, and various NATO countries have their own standards, but they tend to use the old mil standards just because it's cost effective. But say you're in Britain and or the UK, and mil standard 810 has been replaced by DEF stand 0035. It's virtually identical, except a lot of it's just copy and paste, but the units of measurement might be different, might be the same, depends on the test, might have some minor variations, and the references will probably have been changed to UK references. But you know, things like drip tests, it's just a copy and paste from the US mil standard 810. And that's the way NATO works, or NATO countries. America has got a lot of money and a great big industry, and they can do these things, and it's just easier to use what already works, or if you want to make your own, just do a copy and paste with some minor adjustments. So if somebody is doing these tests and they haven't mentioned these mil standards, they mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. They're not done right. You'll find that the mil standards almost invariably say use as expected, or as will be in service use. They never do, you know, pull the trigger until the firearm is destroyed. It just wouldn't do that. I mean, that's not cost effective, and it doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't tell you anything about the equipment that's being tested. All it's told you is, I have destroyed it. So when you get people shooting things on full auto until it bursts into flames and the barrel bends and melts, it really hasn't told you anything. In military service, it will never experience that. You'll also find in the American TOP that it does say for things that are expected to shoot high volumes, you know, it might be cost prohibitive. Find another way of doing it. Don't shoot so much ammunition, because it will just cost a lot of money. And if you work on any of these projects, the first thing the company is going to do is go, that's expensive, find a cheaper way. And they always do. So, you know, if somebody dumps mud on a rifle, have they done it to the correct viscosity of either the mil standard or the TOP or the AC 225? Have they done it to that? If they haven't, the test doesn't mean anything. You know, if they want to test it in cold weather, have they put it down to, I think it's minus 53 or 54, plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius. Let it sit, I don't know how many hours, might be 10 hours, can't remember off the top of my head, and then stabilize at that temperature and then use it. Might not have to use it. You know, if it doesn't have any of these things in these tests, the tests have no value. They don't teach us anything. They don't teach us anything about the equipment. They don't tell us if it's more reliable than the other stuff, because it's not a fair test, which is why they write these tests, so that they're fair and they're repeatable. I really hope that my viewers take something away from this, that unless you're doing environmental testing correctly, it just doesn't mean anything. It just makes me cringe to watch people destroy this equipment, and you're not getting anything out of it other than showing that you've either got a lot of money and you can just throw it away, fair enough, or you need to understand it's only for entertainment, and these tests have no bearing on the world around us. I mean, the military, they just don't use things like that. I mean, high temperature testing, I think it's 90 degrees, right? You'll occasionally get somebody who says, well, how many hours did you test it at 90 degrees at? And the thing is, a human is only good for a few minutes at 90 degrees. So it doesn't matter how long you test it for. You usually come back and say, look, you've got 5 minutes to cool down to 70 degrees, and then start using it. So we've done 90 degrees for 5 minutes, and then after that it's 70 degrees with a cooling off period. Because, you know, humans just can't live in 90 degrees. But you might get 90 degrees inside a vehicle, such as a armored vehicle or an aircraft, before it's started up and all the doors are open. And that's one of the testing requirements. So the military tests for things such as firearms, body armor, vehicles, EMC, are a lot more detailed. They cost a real lot of money to do. If you were to run through the whole set of tests in TLP 045, it's probably going to take you a year to do. And I think things like water drip test, I think it's 10 days. 10 days, and your equipment that you're doing this test with has to work for 10 days. There's a very clear line in there that says, if the equipment fails, go back to the last 24 hours or start again at the last 24 hours where the equipment was working. So if you've got 10 days, it fails at 5, trust me, a lot of times you don't notice until you've opened up the chamber that, didn't get through that one. Or you look at the data on the computer and you go, ooh, gotta start again. And so 10 days becomes easily 50. And then you have to write documentation to show that it passed, failed, or whatever you need to come up with for a lab report for the test. And then it has to be approved. So, I mean, even for something like a water drip test, you're talking months and months of work to do it right. So a 5-minute video, you know, where somebody's thrown an AK into a swamp for a few days and then come back, it has no value. Entertainment, possibly. Makes you cringe, certainly. But yeah, if people aren't quoting the documents and saying it's been done correctly, these videos really mean nothing. I didn't want to rant in this video, but I would like my viewers to know that there are standards that we use when we test body armor, firearms, tanks, aircraft. And so the main environmental ones that you want to care about are DL160G, mil standard 310, mil standard 810, or if you're in the UK, DEFSTAN 0035. And then there will be things for aircraft. You have helicopters are quite specific. Armored vehicles generally follow milstand 810 and 310, but you'll have you might have requirements that are very, very specific for a certain test, for a certain environmental condition. And environmental conditions aren't just the air around you. I mean, an environmental condition might be vibration of the vehicle that you're in. If you take TOP 045, there's a specific vibration test for loose cargo. I think it's 25 millimeter vibration. I can't remember how many minutes it is, but I have never seen a firearm pass that test where you didn't end up with a lot of little pieces. It's just the way the world works. I'd be happy to hear other people who have done the same tests and had different results, but I really hope that my viewers will take something away from this video, that these are the standards we use mainly, and we test to these standards. You can find them online, they're readily available online. And this is how it's actually done. And if you're watching a video on YouTube, please understand that it can only be used for entertainment, because they're just wrong. But if any of my viewers would like to ask me how any of these tests are done, I'd be happy to run through one or two of them or make a series on it, and I'll be happy to go through a test and tell the viewers what is looked for, how long the test will take. That would depend on what the item is, yeah, just generally I'd be quite happy to run through the test. So if you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. You can like this video, you can dislike this video. I always love to know why people dislike videos. I think that's probably more helpful than why you liked them. And you can reach me, my email's at the end as always, and send me an email if you want to talk. And until next time.